So I decided to make a video of me putting this final, making a second one of these guys here. And because it's just time consuming, and I think you need to appreciate that it's time consuming. So first thing I did is I had a scrap from this one and I used that scrap as a template to determine the thickness of the shelf or the divider, it's not a shelf really, that I'm putting into this radiator box. And I noticed that I constructed the last one incorrectly, so I've got to do a little correction on that. Nothing horrible. I just got to move one of the slats. One is centered and one is off-centered, and I should have taken that into account. So these get Gorilla Glued in, and the way I do that is with a little piece of painter's tape on one side. I'm gonna fit this piece in, which before I went on camera, I cut it, and I think I cut it to the proper length, although I think I put the tape on backwards. Yeah, yeah, I did. So let me retape it, because you'll see these have tapers on them, and I've got a hair on there too on the tape. Sorry about that. Nothing worse than hair in your video. So you can see that's not a perfect rectangle. It's not a parallelogram either. It is just a polygon, I guess. So I'm going to place that and hold it in place at the bottom with the painter's tape. And I'm going to check to see if it's the same height as the other one. I still may have to trim it a little bit here and there. Forgive me, I'm eyeballing this, and you can't see it, but I'm just eyeballing this a bit. It's got to go lower. It's a little bit tricky with the tape on it because the tape wants to attach itself to everything. And forgive my clearing of my throat. I'm like that. So, let's see. Eyeballing it, it looks pretty good. So, so now I've got that situation, and the bottom of it is the painter's tape, right? So, very carefully, I'm going to fold the flap down so I can get some crazy glue onto that edge that would affix to the back right in here. And try not to make too much of a mess. This particular Gorilla Glue, I keep calling it crazy glue, it's kind of like Xerox machines for we old folks. Everything's a Xerox machine and everything's a Kleenex. So, you probably should get something with a more precise applicator than this Gorilla Glue applicator, because it's kind of stinky. But for this particular kind of work, it's just, it's hard to get a small bead on an edge that's literally 2 sheets of paper thick and not make a mess. But I'm not making a mess so far, just a tiny one. These are going to get painted black, and there's going to be screens over them and all of that too, so you got to keep that in mind. And try and make sure it's level. Your little divider here. And then you just get to hold it. Hold, 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 hold. That's not me clearing my throat. That's my wife. As I make her laugh on my YouTube channel. And I'm sorry I'm not holding this toward the camera. That's I'm just seem to have it to where I've got it. It's gonna take a couple of minutes. What can I tell you? It's faster than using like tester cement, where you'd have to hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it. So this will go a little bit quicker. You can blow on it. So the car is coming together, and I'm thinking that I might go back to work next week. If you're following any of the government shutdown stuff, I always had a feeling it was going to last until Election Day, and then based on who won and who lost, there would be some wrangling going on. So I think we'll be going back to work, which makes me really want to get this car as close to finished as possible, because I will have so much time to make up when I get back to the office. I'll probably be working 7 days a week for the next couple of months. So if I don't get this pretty close to done, it's going to sit in the condition it's in. I think my radio has not shipped yet, which I'm kind of disappointed in. I got an eBay note today saying that the order is being processed. At first they told me I was going to get it on Friday, so I don't know what's going on with that. But I really would have liked to have had that. I don't know, depending on how all this goes together, if I can get these radiators installed in the body today, with or without cutting out the clear Lexan window ports, if you will. Even if I don't do that, I gotta try and get these done, painted and done today, because then I've got to start thinking about doing the lights and installing lights, and how I'm going to do that with this particular car. It's the LaFerrari model came equipped with components to put bulbs in bezels. This car did not, and I'm kind of worried about how I'm going to do it. I saw other people have done it. My favorite Italian fellow did it, and it worked out for him. So I'm kind of hoping I can do that. I may actually watch his video. I don't know if he actually showed the installation of the lights or not. He probably did, because he's a pretty complete instructor when he builds a model. And he's more in tune with his camera work than your professional is here, who just wants to build a model more than I want to make a video of it. But I'm kind of having fun making a video of it, so you'll just have to tolerate my my so-so camera work. I'm looking to apply some of the Gorilla Glue to the sides of this as well. And I'm going to do that with, I think, this piece of scrap, which I think has got a smaller tip than a toothpick. So I'm going to try and get some on here, on the sides as well as that one edge. That gives me 3 edges of contact with glue. And as I said in earlier videos, this stuff really does bond to this particular plastic. So that's the excellent news about that. So this worked out as a good applicator to put crazy glue or Gorilla Glue on either side of the shelf. Wow, wow. And now I'm holding that. And, you know, hum your favorite tune and all of that stuff. Off camera, I'm trying to think of anything else I did off camera that was major, but really I haven't. I've pretty much documented as many of the steps as I possibly could that might be useful. And now including this one, even though this is not like great video or anything, voila. You know, it's, as I sit here and hold this, it just gives you an idea of my thought process to build this. I mean, you know, this is all no instruction book stuff, and it's kind of, you know, you just got to wing it. And I am winging it for sure. But I'm happy about that. It's a lovely fall day here. Our leaves were just collected. I don't do raking. Our yard has trees that would leave you in ankle-deep leaves, and it's a good-sized yard. So my wife and I gave that up long ago when we first bought our house. We probably did it for about 5 years, and said, nope, no thanks, no more. And I think it was a great decision not to do it. They come, 20 minutes later, they're done. And it beats spending, especially when I have so much little time to myself normally, spending time doing stuff like that is not my favorite thing to do. So while we're sitting here talking, I got, I'm going to put the bottom piece on first, and I'm going to just put a piece on that's bigger than it should be, and then just trim the edges to fit. And I'm actually looking for one of my less favorite ones here, less perfect ones. And because it's at the bottom, you'll barely see it. Yeah, I think I'll glue this one. And then once it's dried in place, I'll cut these sides off of it. And then the moment of truth will be, what do I have to do to make sure these fit in the car? Ha ha ha. You know? That's the trick. It's all fun and games when it's outside the car, but inside the car, that's when life gets complicated. So as I was looking at the real car, I noticed that the real car, the model, that one, this beautiful one here, that's in 1/12 scale, by the way. I think I've mentioned that in the previous videos. I also have a 1/18 scale one. But what I was realizing, and I've looked at this many, many times, but, you know, I realized that the radiator itself is one big radiator with just different dividers in it. So I could have actually, it's first it looked like there were different radiators at different depths, and I guess, I don't know, yeah, actually there is. There are different radiators at different depths and different angles. So how picayune do I did do that too. I did that in my little test one. I did do that. So I guess I wasn't crazy after all. This was correct, kind of. I mean, the proportions are wrong, and the proportions of these aren't perfect either. It's an RC model, and the ports are interpretive. You know, if I were to make this accurate to the real car, I'd have to cut these fenders to here, bend them down, and fabricate something to look like it, it actually emulates what the body does. But we're not doing that. So all of this is interpretive. We have to make these little creative license choices. I'm just trimming the ends off here. It's dry enough to do that. It's not completely dry, but it's dry enough. So now we've got here's our box. And then I'm going to put the slats in next. This is, probably the third and a half try I've done of this. So it's going a lot faster. This one here took me the better part of a half a day to figure out. So it looks like it's going better than it really did. But if you're going to do any kind of fun off the instruction sheet kind of stuff to do, it's going to go like that. Especially when, if you don't have all the tools, if you're not a model maker every day of your life, like, some of these people that build these things are just masterful. Why would anybody watch one of my videos when you can watch somebody who can really make a masterpiece? But I'm kind of pandering to people who like to build models and just want to do it for the fun of it and see if they can do something a little different with the model. Yeah, with the model. So once again, I cut this one a little proud. It's not, I have these tilted down just a little bit, so I've got to cut this, I've got to angle this slightly. I'll tell you, you got to have good scissors and lots of different scissors when you build these models. That is so important. Scissors, scissors, scissors. Cutting tools of all kinds. Dremel doesn't hurt, but only, Dremel, I don't use a Dremel much. I needed it today because the 3D printed model was, of course, of the interior is very thick plastic. So I wanted to make quick work of that, and a Dremel is the way to do that. My lighting is not good. Let's see if I can get more light in here. Excuse me, beautiful Porsche. Because I want to land this just right. The problem with super glues of any kind is you don't get many shots at it. All right, so that's sitting there drying this for a second or two. And we'll let that percolate. And, I just keep thinking about this model since since I started this. It's been an obsession over the past month. But as I've said, making a video is a kind of a similar process. If you're making a real video, the amount of details is crazy. And if you'll pardon me, I'll have to take this call. It's my 94-year-old mom. Okay, here's a little summary of where I'm at. The only thing I've done since I went off camera abruptly, sorry about that, but got to take calls from your mom when she's 94, and so please forgive me for that. But the only thing I did differently is I've added this little diagonal piece of plastic, glued that in. Here it is here. I glued it in a little fat, and then I'll cut it off like I did this one. Scraps, scraps, scraps. This is what I've been doing, just shaving and retesting how these fit. They're not identical. I think in the car they'll be okay. If you look, the ports, nothing in this car is identical. It's hand built. It's as good as I can get it. So we'll see how it looks when it's all said and done, but take off little tiny pieces. This way, once again, emphasize over and over again, great scissors. I've used, I've got a serrated and a non-serrated. I've got to clean off some crazy glue on this one. So have your handy goof off Pro Strength or Goo Gone, one of those, to clean your blades. Between cutting tape and cutting glued things, you're always getting your blades goopy, and that's not a good thing. So next I'm going to paint these two pieces gloss black, and once I cut that off, and then I'll cut the radiator screen and get that in.